everybody at Freeman Street Market. We're missing you all very much, and we hope that we can come back and see you all properly again very soon. And we hope everybody's okay there. We hope all the stall holders are doing well, and we hope all the customers are using the market as much as they possibly can at the moment. So we wish we were there with you properly today, but as we can't be, we're going to let you have a little look at some of our animals from home. So I think a lot of you will know this little girl. This is Big Nellie, our bossy guinea pig. Say hello, Nellie. Nellie comes with us, I think every time we've been to the market nearly, we've had Nellie there with her guinea pig friends, of course. Now Nellie is going to come over here and sit on Jessica's knee for a little bit. Have a little nibble on some cucumber. So if you've met Nellie at the market, I think you'll probably remember that she loves her food, of course. And we've got her friend Caramel here, of course. Caramel, you must have met her as well. And they live with Penny. Penny's with us here as well. She's in her little cage over there. So we brought all our animals into our living room to do this video for you. So we've got everyone in one place. We wanted to do it outside, but it is much too windy. So here we are, coming live to you from our living room. You might be able to hear them munching, possibly. So what's our guinea pig's favourite food, Jessica? What's Nellie's favourite food?
Cucumber.
Yeah, she does like her cucumber the best, doesn't she? Cucumber's especially nice on a very hot day. It's nice and refreshing for them. Not particularly good for them because it doesn't have many nutrients in it for a guinea pig. But vegetables are important for guinea pigs. Let's get them a bit of carrot too. They do need lots of vitamins, and they need lots of extra vitamin C because just like us, their bodies don't store vitamin C, so they need lots of extra vitamin C. So lots of vegetables is really good for a guinea pig. And some salad. But of course, what do they eat mainly, Jessica?
Grass and hay.
Grass and hay, yeah. Grass and hay is what's really good for them. Really good for their tummies, really good for their teeth. And that should be the main part of a guinea pig's diet. Of course, they have a little bit of guinea pig food as well, don't they? Yeah. They're molting a lot at the moment, aren't they, our guinea pigs? Especially Nellie.
I've got wet hands from the cucumber. It's sticking to me.
Oh dear, wet hands from the cucumber. You've got Nellie hair all over you. We'll have to give her a brush, won't we? Caramel's really munching her way through that cucumber. I love the way guinea pigs eat. They always eat so quickly, don't they? Yeah. And what kind of noises do they make for us? Munching noises when they're eating, but what do they do?
Squeak.
They squeak, don't they? They go beep, 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 beep. And they squeak quite a lot. They squeak to tell each other off, don't they? If one of them's got a piece of carrot and the other one's coming for it, they squeak to tell each other off.
They squeak for food.
Yeah, they squeak for food. When they know that their food's coming, they get very excited, don't they? They've got an excited squeak, definitely. And when they come to Freeman Street Market, they do get lots of treats, lots of vegetables. So we do have to be careful, of course, when we bring them to the market. You've probably noticed that we don't let people hold them all the time because we're there for quite a long time. So we've got to be especially careful with our guinea pigs and rabbits. They can't be handled all that time, so we do need to leave them alone quite a bit. So it's nice you get to see them close up here. We're also going to meet a couple of animals today who haven't been to the market before because it would be too long for them, and they're not particularly good at being handled by lots and lots of people. So we've got a couple of extra surprises for you today. We thought we'd start with a familiar one. There we are. Right, I think we'll let Caramel and Nellie go back to Penny. Nellie's the mum, isn't she? Well, she's not their mum, but she thinks she's the boss, doesn't she? She's in charge. She was here first before the other two, yeah. And she's the oldest, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the bossiest. And the greediest as well. Right, so we're going to say bye-bye to Caramel. Bye-bye, Caramel. In she goes with Penny. we'll give them some carrot and cucumber. And we're going to say bye-bye to Nellie. Let her take that bit of carrot with her, Jessica. Would you like to put the rest of that in with the guinea pigs, Jessica, so that they can be munching on that while they're waiting to go home? Okay. We'll just have a little look at those guinea pigs chomping their food. Before we move on to the next animal. So let's see who we've got next. This is an old favourite too. She's been to the market lots and lots of times. Let's see who we've got here. It's Mindy, of course. Mindy the bearded dragon lizard. Say hello, Mindy. So if you've been to the market, you will definitely have met Mindy. When we first started coming to the market, Mindy used to have to go into the office for a bit of a rest, as she used to get a little bit cold if she didn't. But we're all sorted now with plenty of heat for her, so she's very comfortable there. And Mindy is probably one of our friendliest animals. She likes people. She likes to watch us. I think she likes the sounds that we make. She finds us very interesting, so she doesn't really get bored of people. And she knows where her food comes from, of course. She's always waiting for treats, so she should probably have some treats in a few minutes. Now, her favourite treat is mealworms. She sometimes has mealworms when she comes to the market, so we'll see if she's hungry today. Of course, Mindy shouldn't just eat mealworms. Mealworms aren't even that good a source of nutrients for her. Not now she's an adult lizard anyway. So she does eat lots of other food too. She eats other meat. She eats crickets and locusts, and she eats plants as well. So salad leaves are good. Bits of veg she can have and some bits of fruit. In the wild, she would live in the desert or on the edge of the desert, in the dry forests, and she'd forage for food there. Her colour and texture make her really good at blending in a sandy or a rocky place, and she would spend most of her day basking in the sun. Unless the weather got too hot, she would be basking in the sun, keeping very still, of course, because she doesn't want to be seen by any predators. Children often ask if Mindy's real. She's so good at staying still. Is that yummy, Mindy? She misses being fed mealworms by people. But she gets plenty on top of her salad, so she's not missing out. It's a nice salad topper. You should all try it sometime. She's always very alert, always takes notice of what's going on. So eating plants and meat makes her an omnivore, of course. She's got quite a varied diet. You can hear rabbits messing about in the background. We'll have a look at them soon. Mindy's been enjoying the hot weather we've been having recently. Right, we'll say goodbye to Mindy. Pop her back in there so she's safe for now. And I'm going to show you a couple of smaller animals now that haven't been to the market before. So let's have a look in here. Whoever's in here is hiding. Do we want to have a peep in here? What might we have in here? I think he's under his bridge. Let's have a look. There we are. This is Dave. I'll see if Dave will let me pick him up for a minute. He's a very friendly fellow. Here he is. So Dave is a Duprese, or another name is a fat-tailed gerbil. So he's pretty similar to a gerbil that you might have seen or might have had as a pet. The main difference between them is their tails. So Dave has a little fat tail, which a normal gerbil doesn't have. And that's very important to him. Dave would live in the desert if he was a wild Duprese. And being a desert animal means that he's got to have adaptations that make him good at living in a dry place. So that tail is especially important for Dave because it stores extra fat and water. So if there's a time when the environmental conditions mean that he can't find much water or much food, he can live off what he's got stored in his tail for a good long time. Most desert animals are really good at surviving for quite a long time without any food or water. I'll pop him back in here and see if, I wonder if I put him on his wheel, if he might have a little play for us. Are you feeling in a playful mood today, Dave? We've been doing videos every weekday at 2 o'clock on our main Lion Learners Facebook page. If you just search Lion Learners on Facebook, you'll find us. 2 o'clock every weekday, but we are taking a break next week because it's the half-term holiday. We'll be back the week after, and we're doing curriculum-linked sessions. So if you've got primary school age children, it's especially good for them. And Dave has featured on a few of our videos, and he has been very, very active in them. It's very difficult to keep track of him. I was hoping he might go on his wheel for us today, or in his sand bath, but he's just decided to be awkward, which is exactly what he's done in every other video that he's featured in. He is literally climbing the walls, poor Dave. So you can see he's got a long nose. He's an omnivore as well, like Mindy. So he does eat plant material. He eats seeds and berries and nuts and grains, but he also eats insects. So his long snout is good to help him dig around and find insects to eat. You're going to go on your wheel for us, Dave? That's it. Good boy, Dave. Go on, give us a spin. Go on, run for us, Dave. The reason Dave has a wheel is because in the desert he would cover quite a big distance searching for food and foraging around. So of course he can't do that here, so he has a wheel to make sure he gets plenty of exercise. And he's more active at night. But Dave isn't much of a sleeper. He's actually active a lot of the time. We often hear him playing on his wheel, running through his tunnels and burrowing in his bedding. And he likes to have a bit of a clean in his sand bath. So there he goes. Well done, Dave. Having a bit of a dig. And he has a bit of a clean in there too. They can get quite greasy coats. And having a sand bath helps them to sort out their fur. He's a good colour for living in the desert too. Well done, Dave. Made a nice mess for us there. Right, we'll leave Dave for a bit and we'll have a look at another animal. We've got another reptile, a small reptile, and this one doesn't usually come to the market with us because he is nocturnal. So he'll come if we go out to a school or a party where he's out for an hour or so and then he can go home again. But he doesn't come anywhere with us where he's going to be out too long. His name is James. And James is a leopard gecko. So just like Dave, he would live in the desert, but he would live in the Middle East. And just like Dave, his tail is very important to him. His tail also stores fat and water for the same reason. So if there's a time he can't find much food, he can survive for a long time. James is especially cute. We love James. He's got such big eyes. And he's got funny little ears. I don't think you'll be able to see, but his ears are just little holes. And there is no membrane, so we can see right into his ear. And we can see right out the other side. But we've got to be in a good position. I don't think we're going to get that on video. The way his head's structured, there's nothing in between. But of course, he's very intelligent. Now, James has just shed his skin and he's going to need a bit of a bath because he's got a bit of skin stuck on one of his toes. So it's very important we get that off because that can cause him problems. We give him a bath and we can use a bit of olive oil to help him if he hasn't shed very well. He's giving us a good smile. He's always smiling. The other thing about his tail, some of you might know, is that if he gets grabbed by a predator, if a predator comes and grabs his tail, he can actually leave his tail behind and run off to live another day. He's got a very strong muscle in the base of his tail, and if he contracts that, he can drop his tail, he can leave it behind. And he will grow a new one. It will take him a while. Of course, he doesn't want that to happen to him. He needs that tail, like we said. That's where he stores his extra fat. Right, I wonder if we can get the lid off James's tank so we can just see if he's hungry too. So he's very cute when he eats. Let's have a look. It's a very stiff lid on here. Right, so we'll just have a look into James's tank, and I'm going to get him, let's see what we can find him, a worm maybe, and I'll try and find him a cricket. So James's favourite food is waxworms, which if you've been watching our videos you will have seen he's had a few waxworms recently, and we do have to be careful not to feed him too many. They are quite fatty. It's like us having a piece of cake. We shouldn't have too much, but they are his favourite. So we'll just say, excuse us, James, just let us have a little look at you for a minute longer. There is a worm here for you. I'm going to have to let him make his own way out of here because he's halfway through it. Good boy. There, he's seen his worm. Is he going to eat it? So James is a bit like Mindy. He stays still most of the time. He conserves his energy because he's a reptile. He does like to save his energy up for when he needs it, but when he sees food he can move quite quickly. I'm just putting a cricket in there in case he'll go for that too, but it's going to be a bit faster. And we'll probably just end up with this cricket running around our living room, which my husband will love, because they get very noisy at night time. No, I think that cricket's going to try and disappear. Don't think we're going to see him eat that. That's not quite as tasty as a worm anyway, is it, James? He's not so bothered about that. He says, I'll leave that for later. He is quite fast though. When he's hungry and he sees his food, he can move very fast all of a sudden, only over a short distance, and he's got to conserve his energy again. He doesn't need to be kept as warm as Mindy. He likes to live in the desert, but he will come out at night when it's a bit cooler. Right, I think we'll say goodbye to James. Off he goes. And we've got another animal here. Let's see if we can see. And we see that one. They're very well camouflaged, of course, these animals. We haven't brought these to the market before, but we've brought several different species of their cousins. They are a kind of stick insect. Now these ones, I love them because they are absolutely enormous. They're called jungle nymphs. They don't like being picked up, so they're not very good for handling, and very thorny. You can see on his back legs especially, he's got very big thorns. He can be very prickly. I say he, this is a she. With this species of stick insect, the female is the more colourful one, which is quite unusual. She doesn't want to be picked up though, poor thing. So these stick insects are the heaviest species of stick insect. There are others that grow almost the same length, and these ones are not at all fully grown yet. They're going to have to shed their skin a few more times yet. They will get quite a lot bigger. We're very lucky that one of them did shed its skin just the other day. So you can see an old skin. So because they're an invertebrate, they're a mini beast, they don't have any bones inside their body. So they've got an exoskeleton instead. Their skin is their protection. And some of you will have met the giant millipedes at the market. And you'll know that they've got quite a hard exoskeleton. Now the stick insects, their exoskeleton isn't quite as hard. We don't stroke them, we don't want to damage them. But just like other mini beasts, they do have to shed that exoskeleton to grow. And one of the best things about stick insects is that when they shed, the stick insect is noticeably much bigger. And its skin then hardens up again. Its body carries on growing, ready for its next shed. These ones can live about 2 years, which is about as long as any stick insect will live. And they spend most of that time growing. They'll be adult maybe for about 6 months, just a little bit more. And then we hope that they'll lay us lots of eggs. She's not going to do much for us. She does like to stay quite still. She does want to pretend she's not there really, which is a bit difficult. I'm going to pop her back on her leaf where she feels a bit happier. Ow, very thorny. When we've been to the market, I think you've seen some of our leaf insects and some of our giant prickly stick insects. They're much better for handling and also can grow to a very impressive size. Right, just before we say goodbye, we'll have a look at our last animal. We've got our rabbits here. We'll just have a peep into our rabbits. So there's Jemima. If you've met our animals at the market, you will definitely have seen Jemima. She's a real favourite at the market. But you won't have met the rabbit whose bottom you can see. This is Jemima's husband, Jasper. You're going to come out and say hello, Jasper? Now, Jemima's very happy to be able to introduce you to Jasper today. He doesn't come out to work with us. He's just not that kind of rabbit. He's very friendly, but he doesn't like being picked up. He likes things on his own terms. And he's a bit big for sitting on a child's knee. So he does stay at home. And wherever Jemima goes, she talks about her husband, Jasper. But nobody has ever met him. So this is Jemima's chance to prove that he is real. He does exist, doesn't he, Jemima? You've got a lovely husband. He looks after her very, very well indeed. And they snuggle up together when it's cold in the winter time. And they groom each other. They look after each other's fur. They get up to mischief together. They try and escape. They play games together. And they love each other very, very much. And it's very important for rabbits to have a companion, to have a friend. If you're thinking about getting a pet rabbit, you do need more than one. So a pair of rabbits is best. So of course Jasper has been neutered and Jemima too. She's been spayed, she's had her operation, so they're not having any children. And they're not showing themselves very nicely for us, are they? We've just given them this ball, so it's a bit of excitement for them. We did want to show you Jasper and Jemima in their own home, but it's very windy outside and we thought the noise would interfere a bit, so here they are in the house. Jasper doesn't come in the house very much. There we are. Jemima, say hello to all your friends at the market. She's a good girl. Hello Ollie, you like James the gecko, do you? That's good. He's very smiley, isn't he? He's a predator too, he's a carnivore. He only eats meat. He can be very speedy. Right, I think we'll say goodbye. The rabbits don't really want to play, do they, today? They're making it as difficult as possible. So we're going to say goodbye, Freeman Street Market, and we hope to see you all again very, very soon. Stay safe, everybody.